got gold records. He's got platinum records. He's got CMA and ACM awards. And now a best-selling book. You can hear him here on The Dana Williams Show.
Hey, man. How about that? Yes, friends, that's us. What a goober, man. Facebook page. Bless his heart.
Here's Dana.
Oh, that's what he said, friends. Here's Dana one more time. Welcome to the Dana Williams Show right here on DanaWilliamsShow.com. And I hope you all have been having a good week. It is mighty cold here in the volunteer state, our wonderful state of Tennessee. We are mighty cold here, and we had a little bit of snow, which in these part of the woods, if you get a half inch of snow, you know, you just close the whole city down. And we had that, and it's frozen, and my goodness. Anyway, we're sitting in here in the warm, and I've got a legendary special guest sitting here that I've been begging for 2 months, and bless his heart, he finally come over here. I want y'all to say hello to Mr. Joe Bonsall.
How you doing,
How
Dana?
are you, pal?
I'm doing really good, and of course, my middle name is Of the. I know that name.
Yeah, you do. I got that same name.
Yeah, you do when you're in a group forever.
Joe Bonsall of the Oak Ridge Boys.
Yeah, man. You know, you walk through a Walmart and you hear somebody go, "Isn't that one of the?"
Yeah.
Are you one of the? I tell you, leave this group and you'll be. Didn't you used to be one of the?
Yeah.
It's of the.
Yeah, it's of the.
It's our middle name, Dana Williams of.
Yeah.
Well, you would be of Diamond Rio.
Well, I'm just part of Rio anyway. I don't get to be Diamond.
We are of the Oak Ridge Boys.
I mean, you guys, see, you spread the love. See, with us, we got one Diamond.
Yeah, and a bunch of Rios.
And a whole lot of Rios. So.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. I've been very fortunate to be with this group for a long time. I was thinking about it the other day, man. I'll be 62 years old this May. I joined this group. I was 25.
Dude.
See, dude is right, man. So I have lived my whole adult life as one of the.
I mean, that's like 30 plus, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. Well, golly, don't make me do the math now in front of you. But it's
I mean,
about 36 years I've been with the group.
God.
And hey, and Dwayne and those guys have been here longer. I mean, I joined the Oak Ridge Boys in 73. Richard Sturban, the bass singer, joined in 72. Now, William Lee Golden joined in 65. I graduated high school in 65.
So you're the new guy.
I am, and Dwayne in 66. So
I'm the new guy.
You are the new guy.
I am the new guy. I came in 89, and I took the place of the last original member of that band, and I'm the new guy here. I celebrated 20 years in 09.
Well, there you go. See, we know how to do what we do now, don't we?
Dude.
We've got it down, man.
Dude, I'm not in. You're on a whole nother level, dude.
Well, that's not really true, man. I don't think. I think anybody that in this business, as hard as this business is, to make it for a year, make it for a couple, make it for any length of time, I think is very admirable. And I've always thought of Diamond Rio as one of those acts that persevered a long time, just like Alabama did until they stopped. And just like the Statlers did before they stopped, just like we've done, just like the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. I mean, I have a lot of respect for acts that can endure over time, because you know that it takes an incredible energy level.
Yeah, it does.
And it takes an incredible creative process to keep reinventing yourself. Without losing your identity, you have to still keep reinventing what you do to be relevant. And I think you guys have been good at that as well.
It's just, man, you guys, though, man, 36 years. And then you're talking about Golden, and, man, these guys, I mean...
40-some years for Golden and
you guys just keep on keeping on, and probably after. Well, I know you're out there working more than just about anybody.
We did 157 dates last year, and that includes 2 months of Christmas tour, which was like
2 months,
40 cities. Just for Christmas, because we've got the big Christmas tour we do every year too. So we're just geared that way.
I want to see the list of people that have done anything for 36 years or gigging for 36 years and just did 150-something dates. That's a small list, dude.
Well, that's where the blessings come in. We've always been a live act. We've always been a concert act. We've always been a big, hard-working touring act. I mean, that's just the nature of the Oak Ridge Boys. I don't know if it comes from the old gospel quartet background or what, but we just pound it. And I think that we just I think we maybe have a fear that if we slowed down some, we would slow down more. And we're just not into that. I feel like as long as we're healthy, man, if God blesses us with the health to go sing, then why not just keep on singing? And we've been very fortunate. We've had a few brushes here and there, like we all have had, with a little health problem here, a little health problem there, but nothing major and nothing that hasn't been able to be overcome. So I just think we're all really blessed, man.
There's absolutely no doubt about that. I just...
Say, what do you do for a living, man? We sing songs. Wow. What do you do, Dana? I sing songs, play bass. What do you do, Joe? I sing songs and play some real half-baked banjo from time to time. But what do I really do for a living? I sing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here you go.
Why would you not want to keep doing it? I wrote a book on this group, as you know.
Actually, what I do for a living is I get on a bus and travel.
Oh, yeah, we ride. That's what we really do.
That's what we really do. We ride.
Yeah, that's it.
The bass and singing, and you for singing. No, that ain't no for a living. No,
that ain't what we do. We ride.
I get on a bus for a living.
That's exactly right, man. And we've said that very same thing many times. So what do you guys do for a living? We ride.
Man, if you could take that out of the thing, like Conway almost did right up the road here, if you could do that and get everybody to come to you, man, I don't know. The man could stand that kind of bliss.
I don't know. Philosophically, though, I can't go there. I just can't go there. But that thing of just, parking it at a theater or your own little park or something.
I don't.
Nah, the road has some appeal to me still. I don't know why. We're crazy. That's why. We're insane.
Maybe that's what it is.
It is what it is. You've got to be crazy to do this. You have to be to begin with.
As I sit here and think about it, I thought it was just steel players, but no, I think it is all of us.
No, but you've got a real good point on the steel players, though. Yeah, you really do. And drummers. Drummers. Of course, drummers don't really mind being on the road as much because they sleep till 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah. Bless their heart.
The show comes up a lot faster at night when you sleep till 4.
You notice we don't have a steel player in our band.
We do.
I know you do. And I know him, too.
You know Rex Wiseman well, don't
Rex.
you? Rex is a character. If there ever was a character to have around, it's Rex Wiseman.
I love him, man. That's what I was aiming straight at.
Stunning musician.
Yeah.
I mean, he plays everything and plays it well, as I say, on stage at night. Incredible mandolin player. And his background's kind of bluegrass, too. So he's one of, for the most part, the guys in our band over there. Now, we're a little different than you. You guys are self-contained. Yeah. We've got 4 guys singing, and then we've got a 6-piece backup band. And our band, except for Rex, is pretty much rock and roll and blues attitudes. Yeah. So, like when I try to get everybody to play with me when I get out the banjo, it's all like, oh, God, here comes the banjo for crying out
man.
loud. So, but Rex will pick with me, man.
That's where it started, is right there on that banjo, baby. Let me tell you.
Did you know, I don't know exactly when this is going to play, but I had the worst thing happen to me this past week, man. I got a text message from Larry Franklin inviting me to Earl Scruggs' 86th birthday party last night.
Really?
I didn't see that text till this morning.
Oh, no.
And I'm talking to you right now on a Friday, and last night on this Thursday was Earl's party, and I saw the text this morning with directions and everything to the surprise birthday party of Earl Scruggs, where I could have been last night with probably every banjo player around, but was all probably there. And it was so disappointing.
86 years old, man.
Yeah, man, look at him.
Man.
86, baby. And he's still playing gigs, too, man. He's out playing.
He can still throw down a little Foggy Mountain break.
You betcha he can. He's still Earl Scruggs.
What about Daryl Dixie? I wonder if he still rips that off like he used to.
I don't know, but I'll tell you, I saw him on some special late night cable TV one night or direct TV or something, and it wasn't that long ago taped, and he was hooking it.
Wow.
He was hooking it.
Isn't that something, man?
It is, man. It
just
is.
goes to show you, man. It gets in you, and that's it.
See, that's the great thing about playing music and singing now. As long as you can still do it at a top-notch level. Now, I wouldn't want to be out there, man, if we were like, singing like crap or something. I really wouldn't want to be.
No.
But as long as you're performing at a high level, that's the old thing. What we're saying here. Why not keep doing it? If we were sports figures, you and I would be retired for years.
Oh,
years.
Yeah. They just all wore out and beat up. You just can't take it.
You're done. I mean, Mike Schmidt, one of my favorite ball players of all time, we're the same age, and he hadn't played ball for like 20-some years. And he's still trying to figure out what to do.
So, speaking of that, I know that you are a huge baseball fan. Mm-hmm. Or should I not say baseball? Should I just say you're a huge Phillies fan?
But I do love baseball. I do.
Okay.
And we on our bus, we have baseball fans. We all love our Titans and our NFL.
Of course.
Dwayne Allen is the biggest NBA basketball fan that's ever walked. I think Golden could take or leave a lot of it, but he kind of like hangs on with us. But Richard and I are probably your baseball fanatics. And I do love my Phillies.
So you coming from, and I'm sure folks already know all this, but yeah, you are definitely from Philadelphia. And how long? And so coming from Philly, it just makes me wonder, here's an old boy from Philly, and all of a sudden he turns into a gospel singer, and and now he's been in Nashville all these years and picks up a banjo.
I don't know what I am, Dana, to be honest with you.
That's a heck of a journey right there, dude.
Well, when I was inducted into the Philadelphia Music Hall of Fame, which I'm honored to be such, so many of my young heroes, my old heroes when I was a kid, are in the Hall of Fame there. So
Yeah,
it's
sure.
really cool to see. All the great rock and roll came out of Philly. American Bandstand came out of Philly. The doo-wop groups, some of the great black acts, from Luther Vandross to the Stylistics, came out of Philly.
I didn't know that.
Oh, gosh, yes. So, Hall & Oates. It goes on and on and on and on and on. And, the early guys, Paul Anka and Frankie Avalon and Fabian and all those guys. And, the Del Vikings and so many of them doo-wop groups. So I had a lot of influence there. My biggest influence was probably Elvis, of course, like all of us. And but somewhere along the line, music started to change. I feared that music was changing in the middle 60s. I was in high school, the Beatles came, the English movement came over, and then as we got into the later 60s, the music to me became more of a statement of the day. There was a lot of turmoil in the 60s. We had assassinations, we had Vietnam, we had race riots, and I was up there for, a lot of that.
And I was born.
And you were born.
And that messed it all.
But the music started to change to me, and I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. To me, it was the end of rock and roll as I knew it. And way before the Eagles finally got there in the 70s and told us to start taking it easy, it was really pretty bizarre. And I turned to gospel. And I love the harmony and the big-time gospel quartet harmonies. And I started following gospel music and eventually set a course of quartet singing. And here I am still in a quartet today, but that's kind of how it went for me. As far as the actual music went, I just feared the music was changing into something I didn't like, and I was right. It was doing just that. I didn't, I didn't like the Eve of Destruction. I'm sorry, I just didn't like that stuff. I didn't like the English acts.
The groovy and the hippies and all that
the
stuff.
hippie thing and the hippie songs and if I could have got my arms around the throat of that little hermit guy, I would have killed him. I just,
I'm not sure, but I think he loved to hunt.
Well, I'll shoot him if I see him.
I'll shoot him if I see him.
Blow him right down.
That's funny. Well, hey, man, we've got like normal. When I asked you to come, I asked you to bring. 5 or 6 songs here that you got some meaning to, you got some story to, this and that, and the first one we're gonna do here is a song called Seven Nation Army.
Yeah,
and I've been hearing that there's some hubbub going on about this song.
Well, there has been this last year. We worked with a young producer named David Cobb. And I'll tell you how it started was the year before last, Shooter Jennings invited us to come sing on Slow Train with him.
Okay.
So we sang on Slow Train with Shooter, which was really fun and really cool. And what a big full circle thing. We knew his dad well. Now we're singing with Shooter. How cool. But his young producer, David Cobb, man, said, man, I'm just seeing some things for the Oak Ridge Boys here, man. I'm just seeing some things that you guys have never done before, and I think it's time you do something. Just step out there just a little, not really change a whole lot, but let's do something different. And we talked to our label, Spring Hill. They said, yeah, man, go for it. So we went in the studio with young David Cobb, and he's like 32 years old. I mean, my God, these blue jeans I have on are 32 years old. He's younger than both my daughters, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
But, man, the kid is a real visionary. And the very first idea he had was, I hear you guys doing Jack White and the White Stripes, Seven Nation Army. To which we said, what? Yeah, man, I hear Richard singing where Jack White's guitar parts. I hear Richard singing there. And I just hear it in my head. Would just follow me on this one. I know you think I'm crazy. We said, no, man, let's go. We've been around a long time. What do you want to do, David? Turn that thing on. Let's sing.
Yeah, let's
and
do it.
we came out with Seven Nation Army. And over this last year, we have gotten response from this song, I think, like we haven't gotten in years. It's like the Oak Ridge Boys are doing what? And oh my gosh, it's pretty good. So it's been fun.
And no papa mau mau either.
No, but there's boom 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 booms.
Oh, well.
So we always got Richard doing something.
Yeah. Well, let's boom boom and hear a little Seven Nation Army.
I'm gonna fight 'em all. A seven-nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off, taking their time right behind my back. And I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget. Back and forth through my mind behind a cigarette. And the message coming from my eyes say, leave it alone. About it. Every single one's got a story to tell. Everyone knows about it, from the Queen of England to the hounds of hell. And if I catch it coming back my way, I'm gonna serve it to you. And that ain't what you wanna hear, but that's what I'll do. The feeling coming from my bones said, find a home.
now, dude.
Well, that's a big, huh? That's the Oaks? What?
I mean, dude.
Well, like I say, Cobb wanted us to do an all-inclusive album of what he called American Roots Oak Ridge Boys music. He felt like we were the quintessential American music group, and he wanted to see us touch every base.
Amen.
And Seven Nation Army was a big, that was home plate right there, man.
Amen, man. That's what I can go say. Well, that was that's good stuff, man. So, anyway, friends, you're listening to the Dana Williams Show right here on DanaWilliamsShow.com, and this week we've got a wonderful, wonderful guest, Mr. Joe Bonsall of the Oak Ridge Boys.
That's our middle names.
Yeah, of the Joe of the Bonsall Oak Ridge Boys. And this is Dana of the Williams Diamond Rio.
Of Diamond Rio.
Yeah.
Of the Diamond Rio.
Yeah.
Aren't you one of them Diamond Rio boys?
Grandpa Jones introduced us on the Opry one time as the Diamond Rios. I'll never forget that.
And here they are, the Diamond Rios.
The Diamond Rios.
Quartet. Sextet. Fifth sextet. There's six of you guys.
That's good stuff, ain't it?
That is.
I love that. But, hey, man, I noticed that something that I have noticed about you, because I follow you on Twitter, in which I will encourage everyone that should possibly hear this to definitely go to Twitter and follow Joe Bonsall on there, man.
Yeah, I am at Joe Bonsall. We all have at in front of our names on Twitter now.
at Joe Bonsall.
Yeah.
But I've been noticing on there, which I think I've known this about you, but there's not a lot of men, should I say, that will admit to this. I am one that will, and I know that you are, that you love cats.
Oh yeah, man. Half my deal is cats. I think half my followers are cat people. I got cat people. I've got music people. I've got gospel people.
Ain't that something? I mean,
I've got
man,
crazy people.
I have loved cats.
Oh, man.
All my childhood, we had cats, and I got my heart broke the very first time by a cat. I was walking home. I want to get this straight, because I think I was walking home. I lived in Dayton, Ohio, Beaver Creek, Ohio at the time. And I was walking home from, I want to say, like, 4th grade. And when I was coming down the road there, I saw my cat laying there on the side there in the gravel. Mm-hmm. And I thought, and his name was Fuji. And I thought, so I said, "Hey, Fuji, let's go." Because I thought, well, my cat's just waiting on me there. And, man, it was a calico cat, man. I absolutely love this cat. And it just laid there, and I give it a kick. Come on, Fuji, let's go. And, buddy, it came clear to me that my cat had been run over. And all of a sudden, my mother heard me from 5-6 doors down screaming, man, and that was my first time, I guess, of just literally getting my heart broke.
Well, you know what?
From an animal or
when you start to love a cat or a dog and you realize they ain't meant to live as long as us, it's tough when you lose them.
Man.
People and there's a lot of people, I think most people do understand that, because, I mean, let's face it, people love their pets. They love their cats. They love their dogs.
Sure.
And there's that few out there to think you and I would be totally insane for crying over a cat. But let me tell you something, my friend. I've shed tears over cats, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure.
Because they're unique and wondrous creatures. They're good friends. They're independent. They are different. And I adore the feline. I just do. I have a house full of cats, and there's some of them don't like me at all. Some of them, I come home, they look at me like, "Why are you here?" Because they're just so in love with my wife. I mean,
thought you were gone.
Yeah. It's what I call the same look you get sometimes from a woman. It's called the look of disdain.
Oh, the look of disdain.
Yes, it's the look of disdain. I know once in a while you get that ice cold look of disdain from the woman in your life when you have done something really stupid. Well,
That's
cats.
such a nice way to put it, too. The look of disdain.
Yes. Well, a cat can give the look of disdain when you come in the door.
Oh, man.
But you know what? They're great, and I love the fact that cats are so unique in the fact that everyone is different. They're like people; they're different one from the other.
Yeah.
One cat does things another cat doesn't. And anyway, square one. You're right. I ain't afraid to admit it. I love cats. I wrote a book series on cats back in the late '80s, the Molly the Cat book series. Man, they did very well too.
Oh,
they were
my
children's
goodness.
books illustrated based on my actual cats. I kind of made up a little world as what if the cats could talk and they could talk to each other and they could halfway understand the human cat speak, because to them we're all cats, just big cats with their food source. But I made up this own little world for Molly and her friends, and it was a big book series. You can still see them on Amazon once in a while if you go under Joseph S. Bonsall, look for Molly or Molly the Cats. They're still out there, but they've kind of like, that's a long time ago.
I knew a guy that years later, I had moved to Tennessee and I was a teenager and this and that, and this guy showed up. We always went to a convenience store. At the time they were called 7-Elevens.
Yeah, well, a lot of them still are.
Yeah. Well, there's another issue on that. We used to go there at night during the summer, between school years. We'd go at night and play these video games because you didn't have stuff that you got now in your house. So you went and give them tokens and quarters and such and played video games. And there was an old boy that showed up every night, and he'd come hang out with us, and he had his cat with him. He'd get out of the car. And I went to him, and I said, man, I noticed you bring your cat. He said, oh, man, I love my cat. He said, I noticed that people go so far out of their way to hate a cat. He said, and there's just no reason for it. He said, I love my cat. He said, I don't understand that. And my thing is, I have gotten to where I don't really truly have a love for any of it anymore. But the thing that I remember about cats that was so great is they just take care of themselves, man.
Oh, yeah, man. They poop in a litter box, man. They clean themselves. I mean, you get a dog to poop in a litter box.
Well, and then not only that, you can lay out a week's worth of food in a pan, and, they'll eat when they get hungry.
Well, now that depends. Some cats are different. I have one cat that will eat herself into submission. As much food as you put out, she will continue to eat. Her name's Baby, and she lives to eat. Her whole desire all day, she runs around the house trying to find something to eat.
Now, I had a lot
Never
of
stops.
cats. A lot of cats, and every cat we ever had, man, it just would. We'd leave on vacation for 2 weeks, put the food out for 2 weeks. They're good to go.
Wow, man. I don't have any cats that I don't think I could. Well, when you have multiple cats in the house, too, that's kind of hard because each one's different.
Yeah,
so.
Ours was outside, and, man, they'd go, they'd feed themselves. And now, I will say they always brought their trophies.
No, they will do that. An
Back
outdoor
to the
cat
front
will
porch.
do that.
Back to the front porch.
Yeah, you'll get a squirrel, you'll get a rabbit head, you'll get a cardinal.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of the sad part of the cat, I guess. And another thing cats will do too, they will puke. Cats do puke.
Well,
where has this show gone?
I don't know, but
We've gone from Seven Nation Army man to cat puke. Is anybody out there? Hello.
When you
You still with us?
hello, Cleveland. Oh my goodness. Well, hey, there you go, friends. It's there's everything to learn right here.
There is
Everything. Mr. Joe Bonsall's here. We are going to learn here.
Yes.
We got another song that you brought was a song that is off your Colors CD. And you were talking about how that is kind of you guys probably one of your most popular other than Elvira.
Other than maybe the big hit compilations and so forth. Yeah. Colors CD we recorded in '83, and we just wanted to do a Middle American album that paid tribute to the heart of America and to patriotism and to our troops and so forth. I mean, we're all about that, as most people that know us know we are, and I know you guys are too.
Absolutely.
And so kind of an ironic story is that I wrote the book G.I. Joe and Lily, but this song actually came before the book, and the book's been very successful, a really nice book about my parents and their lives and so forth and so on. But what happened was the Oak Ridge Boys were doing a show up there at that American Music Theater in Allentown, right around 1999. And my parents were living in the soldiers' home at the time, at the veterans' home up there, southeastern Pennsylvania veterans' home. My mother was fighting diabetes. My father had had a stroke years ago and was really very weak at that time. So the veterans were looking after them. My father was a World War II hero. He was first wave on D-Day, hit Utah Beach as part of the 90th Infantry Tough Hombres, attached to the 4th at the time. And 50 days in, he got hit hard in St. Lo, and he took a bunch of machine gun nests out on his own. He got pissed off because a good friend of his had his head blown off right next to him. And if anybody's out there a student of World War II, and I certainly am, and you've read the books by Stephen Ambrose, and you've watched Band of Brothers, and you've watched Private Ryan, and you've read the books, then you know really what an incredible thing this was. And
well,
the combat part of it.
You at least have an inkling of what it was.
You know what I've always equated combat to? You ever been in a car wreck or near been in a car wreck or been in a really good fight?
Been in a car wreck, yeah.
Okay, well, say you've been in a really good fight
and come close to a fight.
Okay, well, even coming
Several
close,
times.
you know that adrenaline rush that comes with that?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You turn into something else there for a minute. That's what combat is, except that it doesn't end. It's day after day after day after day of close-up fighting and killing. War is an incredible hell. And I want to get off the beaten path here, but on the way to that show in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, I wrote this song. I don't write many songs. I'm not a real songwriter, dude. I've written a couple. And I wrote this song, and I said to the guys, I've written this little song kind of honor my parents that night. You mind if I sing it on the stage? They'll be there. And that night we had 40 of the veterans from the Veterans Center as our guests in the show that night, and including my parents. So I sang the song G.I. Joe and Lily all by myself with Donnie Carr playing guitar. Just it. And I mean, it went bananas. It was just like so moving, so incredible. Well, eventually when we did the Colors album, I remember Dwayne saying, man, I think G.I. Joe and Lily should be on this album, man. Let's cut it. So we recorded it for that album. And since then, I wrote the book. I wish my parents had lived to see the book because I wrote the book after they passed. But the book has done incredibly well, G.I. Joe and Lily. And the song has done well. If you go on YouTube and bring up G.I. Joe and Lily, you'll see that the little video of us singing it on there is like close to 2 million hits now.
I've seen it.
Unbelievable. It was like the first time we ever performed a song as the Oak Ridge Boys anywhere that night. So it was very emotional.
I got to tell you, Marty Rowe called me. Oh, it's probably been just before the holidays. He called me and he said, hey, man, I know you've been talking to Joe and this and that. He said, I just want the next time you see Joe, he said, I got an email sent to me the other day, and it was a link to that YouTube video. He said, and I want you to tell Joe how much, he said, it just moved me beyond words.
Wow.
And it just
thank you, Marty.
It just knocked him out, man.
No, I really appreciate that. And we'll see what happened with the video is just that. It started to become one of those things you can't plan on, where all of a sudden military websites started embedding that video in their websites as an example of patriotism in World War II and so forth. And like all of a sudden, like waronterror.com, when you go on there, you see the G.I. Joe and Lily video. And then people started seeing it and emailing it around, and it's become kind of a YouTube phenomenon here.
Yeah.
So between the song and as the song has progressed over the years, the YouTube thing, the book, it's been a real honor for me, man. I've had the opportunity to do that which so many never get the opportunity to do, and that's honor my parents.
The thing, when I watched it, I mean, I got it sent to me, and when I watched it, I was oblivious completely. I just watched this and listened to the song, and then at the end, man, when I find out that it was your folks, I'm like, oh, man, it just slayed me, man.
You know, I wrote the book the same way. I used some of my mother's memoirs that my sister found to write this book. And I just wanted to write a love story, a story of romance and war, sticking it out kind of thing like my parents did and so many did. There's a line in the song that says, it's an American love story, not unlike a lot of others, except that G.I. Joe and Lily's my father and my mother. Yeah. But the reason why it's hit such a nerve is so many have lived this exact thing. Yeah. So many people have done this exact same thing as my parents. So I wrote the book the same way in a third person. I wrote the book and talk about Joey and talk about them as young people meeting and fighting the war, her with the wax, him with the U.S. Army. And I don't tell you till the end that they're my parents in the book either. Now, it don't hurt to know that. Now, everybody does. But you find out later that the son, Joey, is your author, and they don't really realize that as much either, especially if they're oblivious to it and they just read the book.
That is absolutely the ace under the sleeve, son. When that gets played, oh, my goodness, does that just knock you out. But
and like I say, it's been an honor, man. It's to be able to honor them like that and to be able to honor that generation like that. It's been an honor for me.
Well, I got to say, I mean, we have had nowhere near probably what you're talking about here, but we recorded a song called In God We Still Trust.
Oh, it's a great song. Yeah.
And someone, and we don't know to this day who, put together some sort of little video that's out on YouTube and this and that, and it's just kind of a slideshow to the song. And brother, that thing has been passed around, and I can't tell you. I mean, one of the latest stories that came from that song was over in Florida, right around Jacksonville, Florida. There was a little school program going to happen over there. And for the school program, it was elementary school, and they wanted the kids to sing this song. And there was about 2 sets of parents or something that threw a fit and took that school to court over forcing them. They claimed they were being forced to sing these religious songs.
Yeah.
So I know that's a whole nother issue, but I mean,
it's a whole other issue that's going to eventually kill this country if we don't quit it. But go ahead.
Well, amen, brother. But you know, stories from that all the way to our military. We were over in Korea in 2006, and we played that song for the military guys and girls, and man, they just took to that song. Kind of give them a reason. One more time, just kind of, I don't know, said one more time, hey man, this is why we're over here doing this. This gives them this reason, you know. So what I'm getting at is we've had a little taste of
well, I follow you guys, and you've had a big taste of it too. I know you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah,
here.
yeah, I do, and hearing this song, man, G.I. Joe and Lily. Let me tell you, if you haven't heard that song, you're about to, and if you haven't seen this video, I was going to say, man, you got to go to YouTube and see this. Written by Joe Bonsall. Man, I don't know what else is left to say except just let's hear it.
Thank you, bro.
He was a streetwise kid from Philly, just 19 and 44. Joined up in Uncle's army, hit the beach and fought a war. A decorated hero, he never talks about those days. Because of guys like G.I. Joe, our country's free today. She was Woman's Army Corps, raised in Carolina dirt, escorting wounded young men home from a burning hell on earth. The first time that she saw him, he was broken and alone. Lily fell in love that day when he went and said hello. And Lily sang this song to G.I. Joe. Let me hold you in my arms, handsome soldier. Take my hand, for we are going home today. Let me kiss away your tears. Let me pray away your fears. I'll stay here with you till they carry us away. They married in the spring, all dressed up in army green. Took out a loan and bought a home and raised a family. The war returned to G.I. Joe in 1965. The old wounds came back to haunt him, but Lily's love kept him alive. Now they're living in a veteran's home. They've both grown old and gray. The medals earned so long ago now hang there in a case. Sometimes she finds him weeping as he lay there in his bed. The distant sounds of battle still echo in his head. And Lily sings this song to G.I. Joe. Let me hold you in my arms, handsome soldier. Take my hand, for we are going home today. Let me kiss away your tears. Let me pray away your fears. I'll stay here with you till they carry us away. Someday they'll rest in Arlington, neath the red, the white, the blue, safe in the arms of Jesus when their journey here is through. An American love story, not unlike a lot of others, except that G.I. Joe and Lily is my father and my mother.
Hi, this is Mike Huckabee, and you're listening to The Dana Williams Show on the DanaWilliamsShow.com. And you better listen, because he's a better bass player than me.
He's 68 and brings my morning paper each day while it's dark. Then hustles off to greet folks at the Highway 9 Walmart. His daughter moved back home last year with her two boys, 12 and 10. Then she skipped town and left him and his wife to care for them. Used to be Superman, Johnny Bench and then George Jones. But lately I've been finding all my heroes closer to home. Every time I see a squad car or pass a firehouse, I think of brave hearts behind badges, ready when the call goes out. Seems since 9/11, it's been on my mind how they wake up every morning and put their lives on the line. Used to be Superman, Johnny Bench and then George Jones. But lately I've been finding all my heroes closer to home. I've got a life I'm loving, got some children of my own, and some nights I tuck them in and stand there in the dark alone. And I think back on my childhood and the sweet days that I had. Now I see the sacrifice it took from my mom and dad. Used to be Superman, Johnny Bench and then George Jones.
that's the Oak Ridge Boys right there, Closer to Home. And before that, we heard G.I. Joe and Lily. Man, Closer to Home. Now, tell me about that. That's a rocking little tune.
It's a rocking little song, and the words are really cool. As people just heard. Our heroes are closer to home. It says, lately I've been finding all my heroes are closer to home. Used to be Superman, Johnny Bench, and then George Jones. But lately I've been finding all my heroes are closer to home. It's a great, great song.
Hallelujah to that one, man, for sure. Well, let's see now. There's several things I wanted to talk to you about, and we've already touched on it a bit. But you being the author that you are, man. You got children's books. I wrote them down. You got children's books. You had a new Christmas book called Christmas Miracles.
Yeah, short stories.
Short stories, yeah, and another book called. From a while ago, An Inconvenient Christmas. Didn't you write that?
Yeah, based on a song by Kyle Matthews. He wrote a song for us called Inconvenient Christmas, and I ended up taking that song and writing a cool little Christmas book out of it.
Now, I'll tell you all, you can go to josephsbonsall.com.
Yes, I'm Joseph S. Bonsall when it comes to writing.
josephsbonsall.com, and you can find all this information, all these books.
And I'll tell you, I've got a new book coming out in September. A new book coming out called One Man's Perspective by Joseph S. Bonsall.
Of course.
And it really skips all around the place. It's got a lot of different little tidbits about a lot of different things. And I think it's going to be a very successful book because it just touches on so many different aspects of life.
So where do you find, do you ride on the road?
I do all my writing, it seems, on the road. I wrote all of G.I. Joe and Lily on the road. We were talking about that book earlier. And the quick story how that came to be is after I wrote the song, I wrote a short story based on the song. I wrote it for Chicken Soup for the Veteran Soul. But they turned it down. Obviously, they had like 2,500 entries, and they only had like 50 stories, and so it didn't make it. So that's fine. So Kathy Harris, my agent and good friend, took the book to New Leaf Press and said, "What do you think of this little short story here?" He said, "Hey, that would make a great gift book. Can you make it any longer?" So I wrote it bigger and longer. So then they said, we want to have a meeting with him. Will he come down to Arkansas and meet with us? So
not often in this business they ask for it to be longer.
I know. Well, I went down there. They said, now, this would make a nice little short story gift book. We could put the song on a CD with it, and I think your fans will love it. But we see something more here. I think this should be a book. Can you give us a real book on this? I said, sure. Right. So what I did was I put all of my parents' things in a big bag. I called it Mommy and Daddy in a bag. And I had all their pictures. I had all their records that I'd accumulated over the years, all their war records, all their records, their financial records from when they were first married and buying a house. I had all my sister's stuff that she found that my mother had written, notes and memoirs. Mm-hmm. And every day I'd get to my hotel room, and I'd get to my room around 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'd lay all this stuff out on the bed and write a chapter every day. And so I to answer your original question, I have done just about all of my writing on the road. In fact, I'm talking about this new book coming out, One Man's Perspective, comes out September 2010. We were playing a big show in Hannibal, Missouri this past summer. Big outdoor show.
One Man's Perspective of what?
Everything.
It's
all encompassing.
Just life.
All over the place.
Okay.
But just to give you a quick example, we were staying at this cool bed and breakfast called the Garth Mansion in Hannibal, and Mark Twain used to stay there. He was friends with this guy, John Garth. So I went into Mark Twain's bedroom of this old bed and breakfast mansion. Said, I got to write in here, right? So I set up my laptop, and I wrote a story called Gun Stories. And it's based on 2 World War II guns that I own. That there's an incredible story behind each gun. And it took me about 5 hours to write it. And I wrote it all afternoon in there. I never came out. I was just so enthralled with writing the story. And it came out so well. Even at the end of the story, I thank you, Mr. Clemens, because writing it in Mark Twain's bedroom, I just felt the words just come and come.
Sure.
So I got a great chapter in my new book called Gun Stories, and it's based on an M1 Garand and a .45 caliber sidearm that was at D-Day. Oh. And so that's the kind of stuff the new book's about. But so to answer your question again, I do most of my writing on the road. I come home once in a while. I go out my farm. I've got my farm out here, and I'll go out there and write a little bit, but for the most part, when I'm home, I just don't do nothing but be home. Play with the cats, play with Mary, go out to the farm, cut grass, work. And but you get on the road, man. You know as well as I do. There's a lot of downtime out there.
Yeah.
And now you got your laptop, you got your big MacBook Pro, man. Set it up, open up a page, and right away. You can write for a couple hours every day in the afternoon if you want to. You can write after a show. You can write as you ride in the bus, as we all do. You can, do some writing and tweaking on an airplane.
You still play tennis?
No, I haven't played tennis in so long. I don't know if I have any tennis game left at all. I would love to play, but you need somebody to play with. And we had some guys in the group back in those days in the band and the crew that really were tennis enthusiasts.
Yeah.
I have nobody out there with me right now that plays.
You remember, I say that, you're talking about downtime on the road, and we run into you guys in Vegas one year. Mm-hmm. And I think you guys were playing there at Bally's or something.
We were.
And we were in town for something. We run into you, and you were on your way, man. We're playing tennis. We play tennis every day at such a...
and we did. We played every day. We would do a show and go down there at night, and they'd turn the lights on for us. We'd play at night till we got tired. I mean, I was just a tennis fanatic. I'll be honest with you. I could stand to get back in the game right now. Probably could drop 10 pounds in a week and a half if I got back to my old tennis regimen.
Well, hey, man, let's not get into that.
Well, as you get older, man, it's harder and harder,
boy,
ain't it?
You ain't a kidding, boy.
We ain't all the svelte, skinny little boys we once were.
No, I don't know that I ever was.
I don't think you were, no.
I don't think I was.
No.
But anyway, that's another complete different channel, isn't it?
But I'll tell you what can be done, man. Old Dwayne Allen. Dwayne was starting to get a little hefty there.
Yeah.
And he put himself on a new diet and a regimen of diet and exercise, and he has lost like 30-some pounds in the last 2 months.
Yeah,
it can be done. He just did it.
I have been religious on an elliptical for the past since August, I guess, and I've dropped some, and just by watching what I'm eating and doing that. So it can be done. You just gotta.
You got to get the mindset.
You just got to get your head right. That's all. Far as that goes. Anyway, we were talking about you guys got a new record that's out. Before I asked you about you being an author and everything, but I mean, I just find that to be pretty intriguing, man. Here's the kind of history that you've had, the success that you guys have had, and now I look and I see Joe being writing books and doing book signings and going some speaking engagements and this and that, and then I see Golden over here painting, and I see paintings and websites on him with all this good stuff, and I'm like, man, these guys, it's
we are Renaissance men.
Philanthropists.
Philanthropists. Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, and then here you guys got a brand new record that's
the Boys Are Back CD that we've been talking off and on about David Cobb producing. Yeah, that's where Seven Nation Army came from. Boys Are Back on there, written by Shooter Jennings. Bunch of cool songs.
So this new single's called
Mama's Table.
Mama's Table.
It's kind of a Norman Rockwell painting in song.
Huh.
Talks about the table that's existed through your life that was Mama's table. We'd eat and talk and joke and fight. We'd learn wrong from right at Mama's table. You didn't put your shoes on Mama's table. And it's in my kitchen now, but it's still my mama's table. It's just a real nice American kind of song. And it's doing real well. It's come in the Billboard chart. It came in the 60s, and it's moved up to 57. And, I mean, for us, that's a big deal right now because, it's hard to get the old boys played these days, as you know. I mean, when your biggest act in the business is 19, for crying out loud, just turned 20. I mean, they don't want to play music by us old boys anymore. But you know what, Dane? I'll never complain about that, man. We had 56 charted records. Okay?
Jeez,
and that's like about 27 number ones, and all the rest were top fives, top tens. I mean, how can you complain that you didn't get your run? You got your run.
No.
But that don't mean you don't stop making new music. You guys are the same way. You still want to create. You still want to put your heart and soul into something. And if somehow it gets out there and escapes and somebody will play it, and right now a lot of radio stations are playing Mama's Table, and we're very thankful for that. We wish a few more would pick it up so we could continue to be in the charts for a while because, gosh, it's fun.
Yeah. 27 number ones. Is that what you just said?
Yes, sir.
27 number one records.
Yeah. We had a great run in the 70s and 80s. Even into the 90s. We had #1 records in the 90s.
Dude.
But, and golly, look how long, we were talking the other day about, different time increments.
Yeah.
And we're, of course, as you and I were talking earlier, I mean, time goes by really fast, but it's just amazing how long we've been doing this. It's just amazing. We now have, with this being in the charts in 2010, I know it's really stretching it some, but that's 5 decades of being in the charts.
Chicago did that.
Yes, they did.
Chicago did that.
In fact, did you see that recent Chicago thing? Who were they on with just the other day? I watched Chicago. They were sitting down talking to, rock and roll boy, Isaac. He's got his own talk show on.
Oh, yeah.
Rock and roll kind of guy, real clean,
Yeah.
wears a suit and tie.
Chris
Isaac.
Chris Isaac, yeah.
Chris Isaac interviewing Chicago for a whole hour the other night.
Oh.
On the Chris Isaac show, had them on. Golly, was that fun. And you look at Diamond Rios and Oak Ridge Boys, you listen to these guys talk, it's the same stuff.
Man.
It's the same stuff, man. That longevity thing, that keep on pounding, man, don't go away.
Just keeping on, and that's exactly what the Oak Ridge Boys are doing. And with their new record, it's called Mama's Table. Let's give it a listen.
Pull a chair up every night and eat and talk and joke and fight. Us kids learn wrong from right at Mama's table with just some hickory wood and screws. It's where my daddy read the news. You didn't put your dirty shoes on Mama's table. It was the center of the best times I remember. Sometimes the only thing that brought us all together. Grandma passed it down when I was in the cradle. It's in my kitchen now, but it's still my mama's table. Where my brother and I played games. I just knew he'd gone insane the day he called his name at Mama's table. And when we got down on our luck, it seemed like it held us up. You could always feel the love in Mama's table. It was the center of the best times I remember. Sometimes the only thing that brought us all together. Grandma passed it down when I was in the cradle. It's in my kitchen now, but it's still my mama's table. It's got some faded spots and cracks, and a couple of burns from candle wax. There's a memory in each scratch on Mama's table.
Oh, yeah. It's them Oak Ridge Boys again. good old Dwayne Allen there. I love hearing that.
He
man.
sings his can off, man.
Man,
He has for years.
What is up with that, man? Jeez.
I don't know. He's an amazing, amazing singer. Singing next to him for all these years has just been an amazing thing to me.
Is he still a big car guy?
Not as much as he used to be, but he still loves them.
Yeah.
He's got a nice collection of old cars. He doesn't talk about it quite as much as he used to. Dwayne's main focus in life is Dwayne is your ultimate song guy. I mean, you talk about me out writing books or Richard out doing overdubs with his voice or something and golden painting. Dwayne just never quits, man, looking for good songs and trying to find good songs.
Really?
And hooking up with writers and publishers. And, we all want to always hear the great song. But Dwayne, I think we've all hung our hat on that pig for a lot of years.
I don't know. That brings me a little bit to a question that actually I was in the shower and I thought about. I'm just sitting here thinking, I know you guys are really close friends with the Bushes.
Yes.
George Bush, the senior.
Yeah,
I guess
41.
Yeah. And I just got to thinking about over you guys' career. I mean, Diamond Rio has had the pleasure of meeting some really, really cool people. Junior, George Bush, whatever number he was.
43.
Yeah, we got to be, we got to meet and take pictures with him and vice president. We've done a few things like that, and celebs and sports figures and all that. And I'm just thinking, man, at the level of the Oak Ridge Boys, 27 number one records, all through that kind of career, what must it have been some of the people that you guys have been able to have the privilege of meeting or hanging with?
I think presidents of the United States do rank right up there. It's kind of hard to beat having a friendly relationship, with George and Barbara Bush and with George W. and Laura. Yeah. And, we've sang for Clinton. We sang for Carter. And Obama has not called yet, and I doubt that he will. But in all honesty, I think some of the greatest things that have happened in my life has been a result of being friends with George Herbert Walker Bush and Barbara Bush. In fact, just a couple of days ago, they celebrated their 65th wedding anniversary. 65 years of marriage. These are two incredible Americans to me.
Yeah.
I mean, she has been a wonderful first lady, a wonderful advocate for cancer research at MD Anderson and for literacy and children. I mean, look at George. He's a war hero, World War II war hero, ambassador to China, head of the CIA, vice president of the United States, president of the United States, father of a president of the United States. I mean, it's really kind of hard to beat that. And we go up to Kennebunkport every year and spend 3 or 4 days with George and Barbara Bush. What an honor it is to pull our bus into that compound and them to be there to make us welcome, and the place is ours when we're there. And we go out and eat with them. We do different things. I have to say, I've met a lot of great people, too. I've met every major athlete just about there's been. We've all met politicians of all kinds and celebrities of all kinds, music people of all kinds.
I mean, man, over 36 years, you guys have had to meet some really cool actors and really cool celebs, man, and not to mention sports guys and and that. Isn't that just some kind of cool, man?
Well, it is cool. And,
I mean, let me break it down even further. Here I am sitting in my house talking to an Oak Ridge boy. And I mean, I know it's kind of a weird thing now, but I mean, hey, man, I remember when Elvira was out. I remember
you remember how big we were them couple of years?
I know the level you guys was at.
We were Taylor Swift back in the early 80s,
you
buddy.
ain't kidding, you was.
We sold out every Coliseum for 3 years.
I mean, man,
you
great
guys, years, great
you
times.
Guys was
rock and roll, baby.
I remember when it was Kenny Rogers and the Oak Ridge Boys, and man, I just remember the explosion of the Oak Ridge Boys.
Yeah,
and
it's very cool.
I just think, man, I know the career that we've had, we've been able to meet some really great people, but I mean, you guys, you've had to meet not only, I mean, presidents and this and that, but I mean, man.
Yeah, we've met a few. We have. Ain't no doubt about
my
it.
goodness, man.
You know,
what I see a picture with Chuck. Saw a picture.
Yeager?
Yeah, Chuck Yeager.
Yeah, we've become pretty good friends with Chuck Yeager over the years. That's been kind of fun.
I mean, man.
He comes out to see us. Well, you know what happened with Chuck Yeager? We were singing at the Alabama Theater in Myrtle Beach, and they had a reunion of
which
of
is
his,
a great place to
Oh,
play.
I love it. We played there like 3 times a year. I love it.
I love it.
But anyway, man, he was in the audience with his old fighter squadron. They were having a reunion. And somebody said, well, you know, Chuck Yeager's out there with his fighter squadron in the audience tonight. We says, Chuck Yeager, my gosh, bring him backstage, please.
You better believe it.
Oh, my gosh, our greatest pilot. I mean, what a hero. And he came backstage. Well, God dang it, boys, good to see you. I mean, this is just really a riot. And we hit it off with him, and we've been friends for years. We've been to his house. You know, he comes to see us, and when he comes, he always loves to introduce us. So he just walks out on stage, you know, and we always wait in the back for him to introduce us, you know. He always goes out there and says all kinds of kind things about us, talks about how if you don't like this group, what's he say about your wood's wet or something. I did some old country saying.
Hold it, brother, hold it. I don't believe I'd have told that one.
No, but he says it on stage. It ain't that bad, but what is it? Then your wood's wet. Whatever it is, but square one, yeah. Meeting guys like Chuck Yeager and George Bush and
I mean,
people like
who
that,
all have you guys
incredible.
recorded with, man?
Well, see, now that's a cool thing. In fact,
I mean, my goodness.
when I was preparing to come over here and talk to you, I was listening to your show, some of your stuff on your website, and my wife said, you know, it'd be cool to talk about with Dana. This is her idea. Was how many people you guys have recorded with. She said, in fact, it would be really cool for you guys to bring out a project of people you've recorded with. Well, that got me thinking, all right, we sang Slip Sliding Away with Paul Simon. A lot of people don't know that, but we did. Oh. You know, that's us on the record. We've sang with Ray Charles. We've sang with Kenny. We've sang with Johnny Cash. We've sang with Brenda Lee. We've sang with George Jones. Same Old Me was a huge record with the Oak Ridge Boys and George Jones.
I remember that.
And Brenda Lee, Broken Trust, huge. And I got to thinking back, you know, I remember we sang on a Billy Ray Cyrus tune once with him. We sang with Con Hunley once. And I started going over and over and over with Barbara Mandrell, When You Get to the Heart. And I mean, it's just like song after song, artist after artist that we have performed with on record. And I got to thinking, what's one of the coolest of those things we ever did? Now, this side of just oohing and ahhing with Paul Simon was singing with Ray Charles. I mean, the recording session with Ray Charles was just like incredible. I just thought Leon Russell. We sang with Leon Russell. We recorded Daddy Sang Bass with Leon Russell. We sang Big Bad John with Charlie Daniels once. He has a rendition of Big Bad John with us singing with Charlie, which was kind of cool.
Jimmy Dean thing?
Yeah, and of course we toured with Jimmy Dean for about a year and a half. I never recorded with him, but you know, we toured with Jimmy Dean, so we knew our Big Bad John part. But recording with Ray Charles, I mean, the guy. This is Ray Charles, man. And we're downtown Nashville here, and it was that one album he did. I forget the name of it. It's probably on that song I sent you. But he had a lot of different Nashville people record with him at the time, and this was the Oak Ridge Boys were invited to take part in this. And one time, man, we were singing these parts, and he stopped it down for a second and said, "Who sings that second harmony part?" Dwayne said, "That would be me." He said, "Dwayne?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Could you just come off that note just a little sooner and progressive? I'm hearing a diminished note in that chord right there that's not being sung. Could you hit that diminished note?" Dwayne said, "Yeah, I can do that." Thank God he didn't say that to me. I wouldn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah, really.
But Dwayne knew right what he meant, and he said, "You mean like this?" And Ray said, "Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. Let's go." And it was like, man, that was cool. Wow. That was cool beans right there, man.
Oh, yeah.
Because old Ray heard there was something he wasn't hearing that he wanted to hear, and it had to do with the part Dwayne was singing. And Dwayne knew right what he meant, and boom. And man, and he did it and made him happy. And I brought that song over for you today with Ray Charles.
You got to know, though, this guy, anybody that has a movie that's named Ray... And, I mean, you know, you the man. if you know.
Oh, yeah. Just go out there and say Dana.
Yeah.
Or Joe.
Joe.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah. And when people wait for the other shoe to drop, won't they? But go say Taylor. Our little neighbor girl up the street here. Do you realize what this girl is doing?
It's just
It boggles the
absolutely,
mind.
it's phenomenal, man. And
I mean, you know what Garth did in the 90s. Oh, Garth. They say Garth.
There's another one.
There's another one. You know, there's Elvis. We all know.
I just think about, here's a guy that they make a great big motion picture about, and what's the name of it? Ray.
And it somehow worked, and it was a great movie too.
It was awesome, man. I mean, man, what a career that.
Now Johnny Cash had the one name too. You just had to say Cash.
Oh yeah,
that was it. Cash is cash.
No doubt about that. But hey, man, you guys just think. You think about that. You sit here thinking about 27 number one records and 50 whatever in the charts, but then you think about all them people you got to record with. I mean, we did get to record with Kenny Rogers. I got to sing with Kenny Rogers, and I sang with Josh Turner, and there's been a few over the years, but man, Ray Charles, dude.
Ray Charles, dude, is right. I mean, to me, and again, I got to say my most memorable thing was Paul Simon. Because I remember back in the 70s, man, we were really hurting. I mean, we were starving to death. The gospel people didn't think we were gospel. Country or rock and roll people didn't think thought we were gospel.
Yeah.
And we were just like in a gray area starving to death there, man. And we went to the Grammys, and of all things, won a Grammy that year for Baptism of Jesse Taylor.
Oh.
And here we are at the Grammys hosting a little gospel segment. We got to know Paul Simon. So we're on Columbia. Paul's on Columbia. He said, Paul, write us a song, would you? He says, boys, I got to tell you something, man. I'm so selfish with my songwriting. If I write a song, I got to sing it. I never give it away to nobody. He said, but let me keep thinking about it. Well, a couple weeks went by, and Paul Simon calls us. Says, come on up to New York. He flew us up there. First time we ever flew first class. Paul Simon flew us to New York. He was producing the Roche Sisters. They're still around, by the way. We sang on a Roche Sisters record, produced by Paul Simon and big old producer boy up there who produced Billy Joel and everybody else. I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, it's legendary A&R Studios where they did The Star is Born and everything else. So we were just thrilled to death to be up there.
I guess.
So the Stranger album was recorded there, Billy Joel. So, man, this was just a big deal. Well, we sang on it, did what Paul wanted, went home. Well, 2 weeks later, he calls us again. Says, all right, guys, now I've got the song. You got time to come up here? Yes, we did. He flew us first class, put us up in the Americana Hotel, gave us a food budget. We meet at A&R Studios with Paul Simon. We gather in a circle, just the four of us and him with a 12-string, and he starts singing Slip Sliding Away and starts showing us the parts he wants us to sing. And it's all back up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's us. And, man, that record came out in 76, and it was a monster hit record. And I used to almost want to roll down my windows and tell people, that's us! We're on that record! That's us!
My goodness.
Nobody else might have known it, but I'll tell you, we knew it. And it really, really was a big boost for us to be on that record that you heard everywhere with Paul Simon. So, man, that's that was a cool deal. And working with Simon, I mean, God, the guy was a genius. I mean, just a genius.
Well,
and I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what he did do, and this is big time. It got to be about 6:30 at night. He says, we'll pick this up again tomorrow, guys. I got to go to the ball game. And the limousine pulled up, and he got in the limo and went to the Yankees-Red Sox game.
yeah, I guess man's got to know his limitations.
And we thought, now that is freaking big time. Now, you know what we did? We went to the same game, too. We went and stood on the street and jewed down a bunch of people to get a good ticket price. They were scalping.
Yeah,
and we
sure.
Can you edit out Jude them down?
Come on.
That's an old Philly thing, man. We Jude them down. But anyway, man, we went to the same game, too, but we're sitting way out there in the bleachers, and Paul Simon's sitting right on third baseline on the second row. So, that's big time, man, big time. Hey, now that's a cool thing, too, doing the national anthem like we've done all these years. You've done that, too.
Oh, we've done a bunch
Mighty
of them.
big sporting events, man. Some really big stuff that the anthem has gotten us into. I just went to Game 7 of the World Series in 1985. That was the famous Don Denkinger bad call. That was the I-80 World Series between the Cardinals and the Kansas City Royals. We're sitting at home watching Game 6. If Denkinger makes the right call at first base, there is no Game 7. It's over. Cardinals win. But instead, he makes a bad call. They go to a Game 7 in Kansas City the next night. Hey, we're singing the anthem in Game 7.
That brings Oak Ridge boys in.
Yeah, it would have ended on. So that's the time where an umpire call actually affected our career.
We had Game 5, the finals, Lakers Indianapolis,
Ooh,
We got that one.
that's cool.
Yeah, that was cool, and I can't tell you the NASCAR races that we've through that we have got to know Tony Stewart real well, and some of the other drivers, but mainly, man, us and Tony Stewart has really become friends, and we were able to we sang the anthem at the Brickyard the first time he won it.
Okay, now we sang the anthem at the Brickyard for the Indy 500 in 1982.
Yeah, that's cool.
We were the
That's
marshals of the parade.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And sang there. And you know, talk about meeting celebrities. You know who I got such a kick out of meeting that day? We were in our little private box to watch the race.
Yeah.
And the guy that played an airplane.
Oh,
Remember that funny little dude? I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
Black, brown hair guy. You know, so I got a drinking problem. Not the big star.
Yeah. I know you did. The one that had a drinking problem.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, man, I thought it was so cool that the guy from Airplane was sitting here, man. I thought that was cool.
And when we did the Brickyard up there in Indy, we met Dennis, and I'll never remember his last name because I love this guy, but Dennis, he is the Allstate guy now.
Oh,
And
yes,
he was-
you're in good hands.
Yeah, he was the president in
24. Yes.
and he had that new show called. And when we met him, I went up to him, man, I got to take a picture with you, man. I just finished 24, and you're the president, and I love you, and blah blah blah. He said, man, if you like that show, I got a new show coming out called The Unit.
Yeah.
And so
The
that
Unit's cool.
show has come, and man, that guy was really a cool dude.
Here's an experience like that. At the inauguration of George Bush in 88, okay, we were at the inauguration, sang there that night and everything, and we're all backstage in this holding tank where there's all kind of people, Chuck Norris, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all kind of people back there.
Arnold.
Yeah.
Arnold.
And, well, anyway, man, Kevin Costner's there. So we're talking to Costner. And we're just thrilled standing there talking to Kevin Costner. We're going on and on about how much we love The Untouchables. I mean, it's one of them guy movies that every guy's seen 25 times, right? You know, yeah, where's Nitty? He's in the car, you know. So we're going on and on with Costner. Thrilled to be talking to him. And he said something to us that night. Do you guys like It's a Wonderful Life? Do you like that movie? Oh, gosh, yes, it's a classic. He says, well, man, I just finished up a movie I think you're going to like. It's called Field of Dreams. Oh. And he started telling us about it. He said, don't miss this movie. He said, I think you're going to like this movie. It's really cool. It's like Wonderful Life, but baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Field of Dreams. I cried my eyes out in that movie theater.
It's a killer, man.
Yeah, my daughter still makes fun of me for crying at that movie. I says, honey, this is a guy cry movie. It's okay to cry at this one. Sometimes my daughter to this day will call me on the phone and say, hey, Dad. Yeah, hon. You want to have a catch? And just start crying. I said, oh, man, I'm going to knock you down.
I'm going to kill something here in a minute. I met Costner at the Opry last year.
Yeah, he's been out there singing and writing songs and stuff.
I took my copy of Open Range.
Really? You didn't sign it?
I did. And he signed it, and pretty much all he said, he signed it, and he said, how about that Annette Bening, huh?
He said that?
Yeah. He said, wasn't she beautiful in that?
She was.
She was.
She was indeed.
And I said, absolutely, sir, as I'm standing next to my wife.
Yes, how about that Annette Bening,
Yeah,
dear?
how about that, dear?
Yes, isn't she something, honey? Yes.
But, yeah, it was a real treat to meet him, man. For
Yeah,
sure.
well, see, now that's what we've been talking about. I mean, you know, as we sit here and we think it over and over and over, I mean, there's a lot of times you get to meet some actors or ball players
That's
or
the thing, man. I mean,
politicians, people you wouldn't normally meet, and they're always excited to meet you too because, you know, they have a respect for you and what you're doing. And like you said, you're good friends with Tony Stewart. Well, don't you know Tony probably thinks, man, it'd be really cool to be able to sing with Diamond Rio. And you think, but boy, look what Tony Stewart does. So it's you end up with a mutual admiration society, and I think that's
he
cool.
you know, he was here in Nashville testing one time, and I took my son over and to the track, and he said, you know, come close to 5 because we're working until 5. So we got over, I don't know, 3:34 and hung out a little while. And after we got done, he said, somebody throw me their keys. And he somebody threw him keys to a Ford Taurus or something, I don't know what. And he said, you and Jacob, jump in here. and he took us for a ride on the track. And, buddy, he brought that poor rent-a-car, man. We did about 6 laps. And that mirror, he had that mirror on my side. I mean, I swear, there couldn't have got a piece of tissue between that wall.
Wow.
Going as fast as the car would go, which was probably just stopped to what he had been doing all day. But when we got back after 6 laps, those poor right side tires on that new rent-a-car were just trashed.
Oh, man. Well, see, that's what I was thinking, man. I said, we've got this old XJS with the V12 in it.
Yeah.
My wife and I. And I've tried to sell it for years, and she won't sell it. Says it's been antique in a couple of years. So it's like about an 82. Maybe it's an 84 XJS Jaguar.
Okay.
And that thing will go up to like 120 miles an hour without even blinking. So, man, I took that thing out here on the bypass one day, and I had it up to 130. And all of a sudden, I started backing off thinking, man, what if a tire blew?
Anything.
I mean, if a tire blew, you'd be like disintegrated. So, anyway, just as I was starting to slow down, here come the state police. Man, they pulled me over, gave me a big fat ticket. He says, what in the heck are you doing, boy? I said, I'm just putting a little air under it. He said, yeah, you're putting a little air under it. You went by me at 120. And I've never done that again. The one time I took it out.
Put a little ink right here, too.
I wanted to see what it would do. I ended up doing community service after that one, buddy.
Oh.
I haven't had a speeding ticket in a long time, but there for a little while I got a run of them. Where it just seemed like every time I turned around I was getting a speeding ticket. And that's not even counting the ones I got out of because I am one of them.
Sure. Yeah.
Hey, Joe, man, slow down, buddy. All right, I don't want to have to give you a ticket. And he's go, well, you know, Joe, I've pulled you over on this road 3 times. I'm going to have to write you up, okay?
I've got to do it this time.
So I have finally learned my lesson. I haven't had a ticket now in years. But you know that over here behind McDonald's, they've got this beautiful
that little 4-lane over there.
Well, but you see that center that's back there? It's a children's center.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Me and about 25 prisoners helped build that.
Yes, that was one of the right there.
Yeah, I didn't have an orange suit on. I wasn't in prison, but they all were, and they brought them there every morning to work with me.
Oh, dude.
And so, yeah, I helped build a couple of them rooms back there with the prisoners. At first, the prisoners didn't like me. And then we got to be buddies, and then I started bringing them food. And there I was sitting around every day with the prisoners. Now, you talk about sitting with presidents.
Yeah.
I was sitting around with the prisoners.
Yeah. So, see, friends, what this business will do for you.
Where have we gone? I've never even told that story before. Golly. Are you still out there?
Yeah. Right here on the Dana Williams Show. You're getting it, friends. Oh, that's good. Well, hey, man, we brought that song of you guys and Ray Charles, and I know we've been going on about that, but, man, we could sit here all day talking about that stuff.
Well,
but anyway, let's play this thing with Ray Charles because it is really, really cool.
Yeah, bail me out of working with the prisoners and play Ray Charles.
play Ray Charles, man. Well, we'll do it. It's called This Old Heart Is Gonna Rise Again.
Amen.
And look down on me if you want to. Oh, baby. You can count me out, but don't count long. I've lost my taste for love before. Goes away, but it don't stay gone. I feel it in my bones, my bones.
This old heart, this old heart, this old heart, this old heart,
This old heart is gonna rise
again.
This old
heart is gonna rise again.
What a bad love can bring a good love to men. This old heart is gonna rise again.
Well, I cried till I'm all out of teardrops, and I hurt till I'm all out of pain.
Then I'll wait for the first love that comes down the track.
Like a hobo waiting for a train.
time. Hey, hey, hey.
This old heart is gonna rise again.
I believe
This old heart is gonna rise again.
what a bad love
This old
can
heart,
make a good love
this
can
old heart,
mend.
This old heart is gonna rise again.
This old heart is gonna rise again. You hear me?
This old heart is gonna rise again.
What a bad love can make a good love can mend.
This old heart is gonna rise again.
One more time. This old heart is gonna rise again.
This old heart is gonna rise again.
What a bad love can make a good love can mend.
This old heart is gonna rise again. This old heart is gonna rise again. This old heart is gonna rise again.
Oh, yeah, that's Ray Charles and the Oak Ridge Boys right there. Dude, that's one you got to be proud of.
Yeah, man, singing with Ray Charles was a cool deal.
Absolutely. Friends, you're listening to Dana Williams' show right here on DanaWilliamsShow.com. And I want to take just a moment, especially with Joe sitting here, to talk about these Shure microphones that we are talking on. That's S-H-U-R-E. Yes, friends, Shure microphones. I'm talking on one. Joe's talking on one. I've sang on one for 20 years. How long you been singing, man? I bet you're on Shure microphones.
Oh, we have used Shure microphones off and on, I know, for the length of our career.
I bet you have, man. So if you want to sound like you're supposed to sound, friends, go use some Shure microphones. You will love them. Let me tell you right now. I do this, and I encourage you to do this because we have Diamond Rio has been using Shure microphones for our entire career, and we just believe in them. So I just think they ought to at least know that.
Yeah, do you remember the old Shure 55Ss?
Oh.
I mean, when I was singing gospel music as a young teenager, I remember owning two Shure 55Ss and thinking that was the coolest thing on the planet. I can picture them in my mind right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah, Shure's been around a long time.
They have, man, and continue to come with it. We also have some headset microphones that we've used on the road, and just all kind of different things for every application you can imagine. So I just encourage you as much as I can, any of y'all out there that's needing some microphones, Shure is the place to go. Surely, I'm telling you the truth.
S-H-U-R-E.
That's the word right there. You know, I was thinking here, Joe, do you remember when we did you remember when you guys were doing that TV show out in Vegas?
Yes, definitely. We had the Oak Ridge Boys live from Las Vegas show. We had
Absolutely. How long did you do that?
It played for 2 seasons. I think it was 24 episodes altogether.
24, yeah.
And we taped them all at that one time. Logistically, I'll to this day never know how we did it because we had something like 77 different guests. And that was hard work. It was early morning to late at night every day for like 2 weeks.
And that was the King's house, too.
Yeah, the old Hilton, Las Vegas
you
Hilton.
guys was hanging at the King's house.
Yeah, and we used that old set that they had on that. They had that big roller derby kind of show there for a while where the whole show was done on roller skates.
Yeah.
And they were done with that show, but they left the set in there for us. So we had this really cool, these ramps we could run around in and everything. And we had a lot of great people come in there. I remember you guys coming in there. And we had a lot of great variety acts from around Vegas come in there. I remember the guy with the talking dog was just hilarious. The guy that painted the Statue of Liberty while we sang, painted it upside down in oil and then spun it around. It was the Statue of Liberty. Just ridiculous stuff. And of course, we did a lot of singing on the show. And I remember, our guests would. And I remember, having like Kenny there and, singing with Kenny. Remember B.J. Thomas. Now, you talk about hard to sing with. Old B.J., we recorded his song, great gospel song, back in 1982 called Would They Love Him Down in Shreveport Today. Great song. B.J. had the big record on that. We covered it over the years, and still people to this day will request Shreveport, okay? Yeah. Well, we decided, I think us and B.J. ought to do this song together. You ever try to sing with B.J.? B.J. Thomas, man, puts more into one syllable. Just think of the end of Raindrops Fall on My Head. He just, like, if they saw him riding in, would they, would they love him down Shreveport
It's
today?
a guy that's just been singing by himself all his life, and he don't have harmony singers to deal
It was
with.
so hard to sing because we sang that song with BJ. We were never together with BJ for one iota of that song. For some reason, that sticks out as a memory because I just love BJ Thomas. I just love him.
Man.
And he's still around, still out there singing. He's another one that's still out there.
Yeah, still out there cutting it. But
He's had a great career. But anyway, man, that Vegas show was a lot of fun.
I just remember that because I think when we come out there and did that show was the first time that I got to ride on the King's elevator back there.
Oh, yeah.
They put in that at the Hilton there. They built that for Elvis to come in there and play. And they told us that they had that elevator backstage put in just for Elvis, period. That's the only reason it got put in there was for him. So I thought, well, I better ride up and down at least 2 or 3 times.
We have some great history there, too, because back in, again, some real starving days of 73 and 74 when Johnny Cash was so good to us, man, we would go out there and open up for Johnny at the Hilton.
Really?
And, again, we didn't have a pot to pee in.
Yeah.
And old Johnny paid us more than we were worth, took us out on tour with him quite a bit back then, where we'd go out and sing about 10 minutes to open the show and then ooh and ah behind him here and there. And then come out and do a big finale with him, big gospel finale. It was a song called The Fourth Man. I remember, they wouldn't bend, they wouldn't bend, they wouldn't burn, they wouldn't they wouldn't bend, they wouldn't bow, they wouldn't burn. And he used to point at me, and I'd have to sing that high part. Boy, some nights, man, I had to just squeeze myself together with everything I had to hit that high note he was wanting on the end of that thing. But all you'd say to yourself was, man, that's Johnny Cash.
Yeah, that's the Cash right there,
yeah,
man.
so we have had a little good history in that Hilton, too, because of Johnny Cash in the middle 70s.
Well, that's that place out there, man. Just Vegas period, man. I know, you guys. Didn't you tell me when we run into you out there at Bally's or something? You guys worked out there for years.
Yeah, in fact, I was saying to my wife just the other day, we traditionally would work out in Vegas for 2 weeks every January during that big tech thing they've got going on out there right now. And we was always out there for that. And it was held at Bally's at the time. I don't know where they're holding it now, but I kind of miss going out there and working Vegas like we used to do. There's different things that maybe take the place of it now in a way. But I'll tell you another thing. Hey, you've been around a long time. One time I started to count up how many venues that we have played at that are not here anymore.
Oh, man.
And that showroom in Bally's is one of them. That big celebrity showroom's gone.
Yeah.
That's now an entryway into the French Riviera, whatever they've got there now. Huh. But that whole showroom's gone. And I think we came up one time with 60 or 70 venues that are gone. Now, that counts all the old Coliseums.
Sure.
Back in the early 80s and the late 70s when us and Kenny were doing the Coliseums and the Full House Tour, and then we were doing the Coliseums in 81, 82, and 83, so many of them old Coliseums are gone.
Yeah.
And, so many of the great theater in the rounds are gone. I mean, they used to be everywhere, like the front row in Cleveland or the...
What's the one up in New York?
Westbury. That's still there.
Westbury, yeah.
That one is one of the few that's still around.
Yeah.
Westbury, Long Island. Yeah, that one's still there.
That's really
But
nice.
Valley Forge Music Fair in Philly, and some of the big sheds even, like Poplar Creek in Chicago. Just so many of those places. Circle Star Theater in San Francisco. I mean, I could go on and on and on.
Ours right here, our shed that was here.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone. Starwood.
Starwood's gone.
Yeah.
So, it's amazing when you can start to sit around and think about all the venues that you've outlived. Jeez.
You've outlived.
Oh, yeah. I think of places like even where we played a lot, like a Ponderosa Park up there in Ohio.
Gone, man.
Gone, man. And how about the Nashville Opry up there in Little Indiana? Just burned down.
Man.
Gone, toast.
That just killed me right there, man.
Yeah, that's a fun little place.
What
really hurt was all that wall in the back that had all those autographs on it of everybody. Yeah. I remember Bobby Knight came back there one night to see the Oak Ridge Boys, and he wrote, "Dig a little deeper in the well, boys, Bobby Knight," on that wall. All burned down. It's a shame.
Oh, that one was a heartbreaker, no doubt about it. But anyway, I was just thinking about that TV show, man, and us going out there. And not long after we did that show with you guys, we got a call, and we went right back out there to that same Hilton, and we did the Penn and Teller show.
Oh, cool. On Showtime at the time? Weren't they on Showtime? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
We had Penn and Teller on our show there in Vegas.
Yeah.
Boy,
Oh, man.
Talk about insanity.
Those guys, man.
I mean, you thought Williams and Rhee was crazy that he ran into Penn and Teller.
Man. Yeah. You're not even getting close with those
Haven't you had them here?
No.
Williams and Rhee, I mean.
Oh,
You've had them, yeah.
Had Terry, yeah, for sure.
Just Terry?
Yeah, just Terry came. Because I thought that Bruce still lived out of town.
Okay.
But Terry informed me that Bruce has moved back now, and he's here. So I may hopefully
if you had got them on together, boy, that's insanity right there.
Well, I'd have never. You just never been able to. Because, man, they're just nuts, man.
Once they get going, man, God, they're two of the funniest people in the whole wide world right there.
That is the truth right there.
And the Indian, Terry, has probably got the biggest melon of anybody I've ever known. That's the biggest head I've ever seen on a guy. I think about it.
Oh, I've been.
His face alone.
Yeah.
His face is that big.
There's no doubt about it, but that's a big head right there.
That's a big head.
But let me tell you, I had him sitting right there in that chair chanting.
Really?
Doing that Indian chant. And, brother, let me tell you, he can throw it out at a just blink of an eye.
At a high pitch, too.
Yes, sir. He can be up.
I know. I've heard
He's up there, buddy. So let's talk about, for a moment, I know that, and we touched on this earlier, you being banjo-y.
Oh, yeah. I've been studying the banjo now for a little over 7 years. I'm getting to where I'm finally starting to really play it pretty good. It's been a long, hard road, and
So what and I'll be honest with you, I learned about you even a banjo period as I was looking on. I got kind of interested in a banjo, this and that, and I got to looking on my uncle's website, Sonny Osborne, and there was a picture on there of Joe Bonsall
playing a Sonny Osborne chief,
where he had, he got a chief, and I was like, hey man, I didn't know Joe played the five.
Joe's been studying the five, and Sonny Osborne is just, to me, one of the great legends of all time, as you know. But,
there's no doubt.
I'm playing a Sonny Osborne chief, and I've been playing it now for a couple of years, and I really like it. I have a couple other good banjos. I got a Deering 10 Brooks. I've got a Deering Good Time. I have a nice Gibson Granada, kind of like Steve Martin's. Kind of like that. I got the gold trimming all on it.
Yeah.
But, man, that chief, man, that's the deal. That guy Frank Need up there in Kentucky that builds those banjos for Sonny.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just really cool. And Charlie Cushman, sets them up. I go out to see Charlie every once in a while, bring a banjo out there, and he's do set up on it for me or tweak it and fix it.
Sonny told me, I was talking to him about it, he said, there's not one that goes out that I don't lay hands on and play myself. I want it, it's got my name on it, and I want it to be.
I was talking to Sonny one time, and I bought a set of them ugly tuners of his that he puts on. It's called the Sonny Osborne ugly tuners. You can pull it right down into D.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of twisting it on the Scruggs tuners, you just pull these little handles, and it works really well.
Oh, I see.
And he installed it on my Deering, and he said, man, take this thing home. And he gave me his chief, his banjo. So take this thing home, play it for a little while. I'll call you one of these days when I need it back. So I took it home for a week, and it was like, my God, I hope nothing happens to this. It's Sonny Osborne's banjo. Yeah. And I picked that thing for a week, and I just loved it. And he called me one night and said, all right, man, I got to send it to a guy in Wisconsin. Can you bring it back to me? I said, yeah. So I brought it back, and I said, well, I got to have one of these. So he said, well, I'll give you a good price. And he got me a chief, and it's been my main banjo ever since. I've got his signature on it, Sia Cherry Holmes from Cherry Holmes signature on it, and Allison Brown. Real jazzy Bela Fleck kind of player that she is. She's got it. She signed it. So they're all on my.
I just saw Sia Cherry Holmes. I just saw her. What was it, the 16th of December? Do you have any idea how hard it is to sit here and talk?
I like Sia.
You do?
Yeah.
I'll be. Yeah. Go figure.
Oh, anyway, she's a darling, and she plays great. Good Lord.
And sings, man. I am just, man. We did
writes. She's writing her stuff too, boy.
Really?
About half of it, she's writing too. She is Cherry Holmes to me.
Yeah, man. Anyway, it was man, they sounded great too.
Oh yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
They're good. They're good top tier bluegrass group right there. They've done some incredible things, and you know, I love the Grassers, man. I listen to on my iPod. I've got a little bit of everything, and I've got a lot of bluegrass on my iPod, man. Just because of my love for the banjo. You listen to the great players, and you glean from them some. You know, that's kind of how you do it.
So what triggered all this with a banjo with you? I mean, man,
Got on an airplane flight from Nashville to Seattle, and Ned Labricki, one of the great banjo players, was sitting right next to me. And after the obligatory banjo jokes, okay, we started to talk seriously about the instrument. And I told him I've never played an instrument. He said, well, you ought to try the banjo, man. I think you probably enjoy it. And he kind of like almost like witnessed to me about the banjo. So get your banjo and give it a try. And
who was this now?
Ned Labricki. He's from
Labricki.
Nashville.
Huh.
He does banjo workshops all over the world. Real well-known banjo player. Well, anyway, that year for my anniversary, my wife let me get a $900 Gibson, what the heck is it? Something tone.
Master tone?
No, not a master tone. I forget. It was chinky. I wish the heck I'd have got a better banjo to begin with, because I picked on that thing for about a year and it sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, it just was hard to play. I could pick up that banjo today and can't hardly play it. But I stuck with it. And that next year, my wife let me buy that Gibson Granada, which I did. And then I had a good banjo to play for a while. Yeah. And I've stuck with it now for like 7.5 years. And they always have told me that if you'll stick with a banjo for 3 to 4 years, you'll start to understand the concept of the instrument. It's very, very hard to play. Now, you're a player. I've never played nothing. I've been a singer all my life, man. I've had a singing mic in my hand. I don't know how to play anything. Yeah. I can play a little piano. That's it. So to be able to pick up a banjo and make it sound like a banjo is a big, big deal to me. And like I'll go out, say to my farm like I'm going, and I'll go out there and I'll pick that thing for hours and hours and hours. I pick every day if I can. On the road, I won't bother the guys with it a whole lot. I've picked a little bit on some of our things where a banjo lent itself. But for the most part, I'll get out on the bus in the early afternoon and I'll pick 4 or 5 hours if I ain't writing. And I work on it hard. I've given the instrument a lot of time. And I just want to be a good banjo player. I know my limitations. I'm never going to be like Jimmy Mills. Yeah. I'm never going to be a great, great professional banjo player. I'm just not. But like you ain't going to catch me someday playing for the Graskels. I'll tell you a funny experience. I was at the Opera House. We were doing a Bill Gaither thing at the Opera House and had a lot of bluegrassers on it. And Doyle Lawson was there. And I've never met Doyle Lawson. I thought, this is so cool. There's Doyle Lawson. He's a bluegrass legend.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
So, man, I got to talking to Doyle, and Doyle says, well, Joe, I hear you're playing the banjo. I said, well, Doyle, I am playing the banjo, man. I am. He says, well, I'm proud of you, son. I says, well, thanks, man. I says, I'm working real hard at it. Who knows? I said, someday I may be the banjo player for Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver. To which Doyle says, then you'll proceed to starve right to death.
Well, what is one of them old sayings? Somehow, something that you'll never see is banjo player pull up in his new Mercedes or
that
something.
Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. That's the banjo player's Porsche. No,
yeah.
You're never gonna hear that.
Ain't never gonna hear that. Oh, that's what happened to Jimmy Olander. You know, he came here and I don't know if it was late 70s or early 80s, somewhere in there. He came to Nashville, gonna set this town on fire on a banjo, and he was here, I think, less than a year, and it came clear to him real quick. And then he commenced the electric guitar becoming a little more important, you know. So.
That was a good move by Jimmy because he's a great player. But,
he sure is.
So he's a great banjo player, man, really?
Oh, Jimmy?
Yeah. I didn't know that.
That was what he came here to do, is play banjo.
Man, oh, man.
I mean, that was his instrument. That's all he was when he first came here. He came here and then started learning guitar. He had been playing, and I hope he hears this, and I'm saying this wrong, but I hope I'm not, but he was playing guitar 1 year, and he got a job with Mel McDaniel.
Wow. Well, good for Jimmy. Well, we'll see. He's a real player. If you could play a banjo, you could probably play a doggone guitar because banjo's hard. I'm telling you, it's hard. Now, some things come easier to some people, you know, like for me. I go out there and put a new battery in my tractor. I know guys out there, some good old country boys, who put that battery in that tractor and not even breathe heavy. It'd take me all afternoon to get that battery in that tractor. Well, it's the same with the banjo. You see some people, they'll pick that thing up and maybe it comes easier to them. It never has come easy to me. I've had to work and work and work and work.
I mean, you think about the banjo, man, and there's so many elements to you got to learn the rolls, the three finger style. You got all the different rolls. If you're familiar at all with the guitar, you're completely screwed because
chords totally different.
It's completely a different tuning, a different neck, the whole 9 yards.
That's right.
The feel is completely different. Everything. So
you have got to be a master to play the banjo. You have got to you've got to have dedication and talent and
darn right.
perseverance
and be one of the
and just to be able to keep that goddamn thing in tune is amazing. You know what they say, don't you? Like 50% of banjo playing. How do they put it now? Say banjo players spend 50% of their time tuning the thing, and the other 50% playing it out of tune. We're just so far down on the instrumental food chain. Like I get the banjo out at the house, and Mary will come down and say, "Are you going to play that like right now, right here?" No respect.
No respect.
No respect for the banjo player.
What's the cats do when you pull it out?
They run. None of my cats like the banjo.
Yeah.
In fact, Mary will know that I've got the banjo out of the case because all the cats are up in the bedroom. Yeah. They've all retreated to the furthest end of the house.
I'm outta
Just
here.
Hearing the clicks of the case will drive them right out of the room. Cats and banjos do not mix. Actually, it's not exactly a chick magnet either.
No.
It's not. It just ain't. I mean, I could drive my wife right out of the room by just getting it out of the case. So, I mean, go ahead. Go to some hot spot in town and get out your banjo. Just see how
and
many.
then there's Sia.
Well, there's a few exceptions. There's Sia. There's Allison.
Yeah.
There's a few girls around it. The good-looking chick that used to be in the Dixie Chicks, she played banjo.
Oh, yeah.
And played it well, too,
yes,
boy.
She did. Oh, that was where they came from, man.
That's right. There's a few pretty girls that play the banjo.
Yeah, no
but I'm
doubt
talking
about
about guys getting the banjo out and having a bunch of women going, "Oh, wow." The guitar player gets the girls.
Oh, yeah.
The banjo player.
Every time.
We're down the food chain, man.
Every time. Well,
So Jimmy made a good move in many respects.
there's things for bass players, too. There's an old saying, what do you throw a drowning bass player?
And what is that?
His amp.
Yeah, the old thing like, who in the heck asked for a bass solo anyway?
Yeah, I mean, so there's pain and misery for all of it.
Yes, there is. There is.
Anything ever goes wrong on stage, whose fault is it?
Oh, it's definitely the bass player. Or a banjo player if you got one.
Oh, anyway.
Well, the thing is, a banjo is an acoustic instrument, man. I mean, it's a percussive instrument. And the thing about playing banjo well is not only playing it in tune, but playing it in time. There's nothing worse than an out-of-time banjo player. That'll get you shot in any band in the country. Guys will draw down on you, man. You start playing banjo out of time.
They just draw down on you.
That'll draw down on you. You're dead. You're out of here. You're eating lead.
Yeah, really. Well, hey, Joe, I got to tell you, man, man, we can sit here and visit and talk and laugh and carry on. But
I hope you got an editing tool on here.
That's the beauty of this. When you do it all on your own like this, you know what? If we sit here, it don't make any difference. I ain't got nobody hollering about time or any of that kind of stuff, and that is the beauty of what I'm doing here. And
can you download these on podcasts?
Absolutely.
That's what I was hoping.
You can,
because
as I have told the folks several times, there's all kind of ways. You can go to DanaWilliamsShow.com. I have every show that I've done all archived on there. You can also go to iTunes and just do a little search for the Dana Williams Show, and it'll come up, and you can
download the podcast right into your podcast.
You can subscribe, and it'll go right into your computer or onto your iPod.
All right, that's cool.
So
that's hip and happening, isn't it?
Oh, isn't that cool?
No, we was talking about technology today. My wife and I and her sister was over the house this morning before I came over here to your place, and we were talking about technologies. Just a few years ago, there was no Twitter, there was no Facebook, there was no lots of things, and there was no iPhones, there was no Blackberries. I mean, on and on and on and on. Super phones, whatever. If we manage to live 10 more years, there are Google. I mean, just go on and on. 10 more years from now, there's going to be things happening that we don't even know what their names are right now. Yeah. We don't even know what the paradigm is. So, I mean, I love technology. I get a kick out of it. It's going to be fun to see what happens in the next 10 years from a technological standpoint, and even as it applies to guys like us, and what we do and how we do it.
Well, I mean, just doing something just like this right here, we were unable to do this.
Right.
Time ago, we were unable to do this.
On my Mac at home, on my MacBook Pro, I've got this little program called Sound Studio. Before, if a radio station called and needed some liners, you had to run by the office, had to set up a bunch of stuff, and you do it. Yeah. I can, open up that Sound Studio, say, hey, this is Joe Bonsall of the Oak Ridge Boys. You're listening to Mama's Table here on WKRW in Virginia. Yay! Keep it there. Okay? And email it to them, and they've got it on the air in a minute. I mean, that is astounding. Just last night, you said, well, man, pick out some songs we can do and send them over to me. Yeah, so I plucked some songs out of my iTunes and sent them over to you.
And there they are.
And there they are on your computer today, and there they will be on your show when it airs. When do we air?
I don't know. When it can air.
We're in the can?
We're one of those that's in the can that is whenever it's time.
Beware, America, when Dana and Joe crawl out of the can.
Well, we crawl out. You better look out.
You got a Diamond Rio Oak Ridge Boys duo here.
Yeah, but I can tell you this.
Pounding it at you.
When it does air, you will see it on Twitter, and you will see it on Dana Williams Show fan page on Facebook, and I will email you, and maybe you can tweet it out there to your...
I'll definitely tweet it to my minions.
To your minions, yes, indeed.
To my friends and followers.
Which I will say, man, I've been watching you, man, and your list seems to be growing by leaps and bounds.
It's because I'm just so doggone clever, Dana. I'm just
is that what it is?
I'm so clever. I come up with things that people enjoy seeing.
Man, and all this time, too. Huh.
And, I find good quotes that I put on there, find good Bible scriptures and put them on there.
Absolutely.
I quoted Colt McCoy today. You probably saw me. I quoted Colt McCoy. How cool at the end of the game last night. Doesn't matter what happens, I'm still standing on a rock. Colt McCoy. I thought that was pretty cool. That made me stand up and cheer last night. Yeah. When here's this kid that got knocked out of the championship game in the second play, and his arm is dead, and he can't even feel it. And here's a kid that came third in the Heisman, most winningest quarterback in the history of college, probably going to have a big deal in the pros. Could have won a national championship with Texas, possibly. I don't think they could have beat Alabama, to be honest, even with him. But they got a rookie quarterback playing while he sits on the sideline. And afterwards, he says, how things just work out like they do. The good news is I'm still standing on a rock. I thought, man, that is inspiring, my brother. And I put that on Twitter today, and I probably was retweeted 15, 16 times. So, you got to just find good stuff that's interesting. The old thing, like my wife says, I could never get on Twitter. I just went to Publix, I cleaned up cat puke. Who gives, And,
wait a minute. We're back on cat puke.
Well, we knew we'd get back to it eventually.
We full circle.
But, that whole thing about, what are you doing now? Well, I'm washing my car.
Yeah.
I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
So if you can come up with something at least clever and humorous, I think it's good for you. Now, a guy like Blake Shelton, now he goes way, way out there. Now look at all the followers he's got. Bro.
I know it, but man, he gets edgy, man.
You almost kind of can't wait to hear what he's going to tweet, and then sometimes you go like, "Oh, Blake, whoa,
dude, lighten up, Francis."
But he's got himself a little franchise going with it.
Yeah, and what about our? Remember, me and you went through, and there might have been somebody else chiming in there about Red October.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, I love that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. I love to do that. All of a sudden, I think I started it one morning by saying, good morning, one ping only, Vasily. One ping, Vasily, one ping only. And, of course, all the Red October nuts jumped on.
Oh, sure.
And anyway, everybody's quoting Red October. I mean, that's just so much fun. See, I love that kind of thing.
I do, too, man. Well, hey, I just want to tell you what a pleasure it's been, and I so thank you for coming over here.
Thank you,
today.
Dana. I'm honored to be in your home and honored to be on your show. And, I love and respect you guys. I mean, I've known you a long time. You guys have done it right out there as well. I like to think the Oak Ridge Boys have done things right. We sure try to.
Well,
and Diamond Rio is the same kind of act. You know what my feeling is always? An act like you, an act like us, we can affect people in one of three ways. Either positively, negatively, or not at all. So how cool to be with an act that at least strives. Men of like minds, at least, that strive to affect people positively. And I know that's Oak Ridge Boys. I know that's Diamond Rio. And that's why we're all still around singing, by the way.
Well, I mean, you know what? It's just me and you have really had really been blessed in the sense of you've been able to be with three other guys that are just really good people.
Yes.
And
honest men.
I have been with five guys that they're just true good people, man, and great musicians and the whole thing. And you just don't find that much, man. And the longevity, I think, speaks for itself. Because it speaks for those guys. Because, I mean, I think of, I've met and talked with all of the Oak Ridge Boys, which I absolutely is just an unbelievable feeling coming from when I heard of the Oak Ridge Boys and all that years ago. Mm-hmm. And now, I can call the Oak Ridge Boys my friend, and I can see and talk with them, and they're just great people, man. And
well, it's cool to, and you alluded to it there, your group and ours have a lot of similarities in that respect. I've been fortunate that I'm with three guys that I can trust, three guys that are honest, three guys that are always forward thinking. There's never one little bit of slowdown in any of them. I mean, those guys are even older than I am, my three partners.
Yeah.
I mean, Golden is about to turn 71. I want to be just like him when I grow up. Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
And you know what, man? It's always, let's go sing. Let's get on the bus. Let's go. How can we keep this thing going? Never how can we slow it down?
I would have never thought that about Golden.
Oh, ever. Yeah, man.
Because, man, you don't even register that.
I'm 9 years older than Golden, and Golden gets out there when he romps and stomps on that stage and picks his foot up and stomps it down and yells, "I feel like singing all night," and gets a big response. Son, he ain't just talking. He would sing all night.
I love it.
It ain't baloney with him. When he yells that out, and he does at least once a night, "I feel like singing all night," and that place just goes crazy. Man, you almost have to drag him off the stage with one of them hooks.
Yeah, get one of them hooks.
He'd stay out there and sing all night long, man. I mean, so I'm just saying that's the kind of guys I work with. A guy like Dwayne Allen, always constantly, his mind's always running. How can we do this? How can we do this better? How can we make this better? Yeah. Guy like me, what songs we're going to sing? I'm already we just finished the big Christmas tour. We've got a couple of dates coming up, like starting next week.
Yeah.
I'm already going over the set list in my head. What are we going to sing? What are we going to pull out this year? Let's pull out some songs we haven't done in a couple of years. Blah, blah, blah. It's always moving forward, man. It's moving forward.
And you know what? That's what we got to do, man. You either move forward or you get stagnant, man, and just.
And hey, and we've all seen acts that are stagnant.
Yeah.
They look stagnant, they act stagnant, they sound stagnant, and who wants to hear their behind again?
Yeah.
You don't.
That's a fact.
So you got to keep somehow recreating it, man. You got to keep it going.
Well, hopefully we will run into you guys out there in what is it? 2010, 2010?
It's 2010.
Or is it 010?
It's 2010. I've called it 2010, and I called it 2010.
Yeah.
I haven't called it 010. But I guess it's that too, if you want to, depending upon the phraseology.
Yeah.
One thing is, I remember years ago seeing 2010: A Space Odyssey.
Me too.
And thinking 2010, that sounded like that was the future.
I remember seeing 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah, man, I keep waiting. When are we going to be the Jetsons? We've got a lot of technology going, but I still can't get in my car and fly home.
No, we got a long way to go to the Jetsons, man.
Yeah, we got to get the flying cars going.
Floating cities and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I think you and I are going to be long dead before I think we're flying around.
And where's Rosie? That's what I want to know. Where's Rosie?
Where?
Joe, thank you for coming over
Dana.
here, man.
Honored to be here with you,
appreciate
brother.
it.
Thanks.
And we're going to go out with a wonderful song here. This is called God's gonna ease my troubling mind.
It's from that same New Boys Are Back CD, and I will tell you.
From the new, okay.
Yeah, the young kid, David Cobb, our producer, wanted us to do an old spiritual. And he found this in the Smithsonian Institute. That's how old this thing is.
This song?
Yeah, man, this is old. It's like hundreds of years old, this song. And I think they probably sang it on the Mayflower when they were on their way over here. But this is the Oaks arrangement of a Mayflower song. God's going to
Mayflowers.
I don't know about that, but I do know this thing is old, and he dug it out of the Smithsonian.
They were busy. One guy was writing this, and another guy was writing the Constitution.
Yeah, trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure it all out.
Another guy was writing up recipes for turkey and corn and stuff that we're still using today.
Oh, my God.
Play this song. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I think I hear the cat puking.
Yeah. We had to end with that.
Yeah, really. All right, I'll see you later.
Bye, Dana.
Bye.
Love you, man.
Trouble in mind, 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 trouble in mind. God, you're gonna ease my trouble in mind. Mary and Martha, Peter and John. Mary and Martha, Peter and John. Mary and Martha, Peter and John. They had trouble all night long. Trouble in mind, 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 trouble in mind. God, you're gonna ease my trouble in mind. Down by the graveyard stood and talked. Down by the graveyard stood and talked. Down by the graveyard stood and talked. There lay the long rail as well as the shore. Trouble in mind, 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 trouble in mind. God, you're gonna ease my trouble in mind. If you get there before I do, if you get there before I do, if you get there before I do, you tell my friend I'm coming too. Trouble in mind, 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 trouble in mind. God, you're gonna ease my trouble in mind.
That's all for this week. Listen next week for more great music and celebrity conversations. And don't forget to check the archives for a show you might have missed of The Dana Williams Show.